All right, here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, I apologize about the delays, a little bit of miscommunication on time and everything, but it looks like we have everybody here. So we have two presentations tonight. Our first presentation tonight is going to be with our local mixed martial arts studio, Kihon Mixed Martial Arts. Each year for the last few years, they've been really working towards mentoring the youth of our community, and they've put together programs and sent young women across the world to fight and to bring back medals for the United States. And it's an honor to have these young ladies here today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them, but I'm going to have Madeline, Andrea, Allison, and I know I'm going to get this wrong, Zilali? Is that close enough? All right, why don't you come up here, ladies. Come on, just right through here. You can stand behind me here. I want to talk a little bit about these young ladies. Madeline, you're 13, right? 13? Wow, that's incredible. 13, and the other three young ladies are 17 years old. But the way it works here is that you have to go to multiple tournaments within the United States to qualify to go to the World Championships. And this year, they worked really hard, and these four young ladies made it through however the rankings are, to get to this World Championship. And there was 42 countries represented. It was in, where is it? Why can't I find it? Where did you guys go? Thank you, Abu Dhabi. There it is. They're Abu Dhabi. They went to Abu Dhabi, and last year you guys were in Bulgaria. And a couple of them actually went there also. And so this year it's been awesome to hear. So they traveled to Abu Dhabi, 42 countries, and the United States took second place in 42 countries. And part of the United States team were these four young ladies from Desert Hot Springs to go and represent the city of Desert Hot Springs and come back. So first I want to read, I have a certificate of recognition for each of them. And it basically says you're recognized for your participation in the 2022 National Pancration, is that right? Whew, I got it right. It's a Greek word. Tournament, and is recognized for placing where they placed, and I'll talk about that in a minute, the World Championships in Abu Dhabi. And the City of Desert Hot Springs recognize you for your dedication and representation. First of all, Madeline, why don't you come up here? Again, she's 13 years old, and she went around the world. Now, what's your weight class you fight in?
97 pounds.
97 pounds. I haven't seen that since I was born. But she took second place in her weight class. Was it second place or third place?
Third.
Third place. It says second on here, so your sensei was wrong. Sorry. She took third place, so we'll blame it on him. But I want to say thank you and give you this. And she's wearing one of her medals, or her medal. Isn't that awesome? So, yeah. Congratulations. Andrea, you've been up here before, right? Yeah. So Andrea's 17, and she fought in the 135-pound national championship. And when it was all said and done, she took 5th place. Congratulations. Allison's been up here before, and she actually fought, no, I didn't see the weight group on here. What weight group were you in? 135. And is this correct? You took 3rd place. Yes. Congratulations. Is it Lali? Is that close? Is it Lali? I'm getting it right. Come on up here. Now this is pretty awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, there was 42 countries represented, and in her weight class, which is 155 pounds, she's a world champion, 1st place. Congratulations. And these 9 medalists, let's see here, I'm trying to read some notes here, see if anything else is important. I don't think there's much more important, but would either of you like to say anything? I know Allison loves to talk, don't you? No? No? Nothing you want to say?
I mean,
come on up here.
Oh, okay.
I know Andrea's dad, he's not shy at all, so I know she's not shy.
I would just like to thank all the city for the support my teammates and I have gotten. It really does mean a lot. That's it.
I would would like to thank my team, my coach, and my family, and the city of DHS for supporting us this whole way for this trip and making my last year fighting pancreation very memorable.
I would like to thank the city of DHS, my team, my mom, my parents, and everybody for the support that bring me and my team to Abu Dhabi.
I just want to thank my mom and Coach Eddie and all my girls for this huge opportunity and for showing me what I'm capable of. And thank you for my first and last year of fighting.
So there's two things we want to give you. First, we want to give you the head of my security detail. You guys okay with that? Yeah. Take these ladies any dark alley, right? And the police department might need you sometimes. But on behalf of the city and the city of Desert Hot Springs and our city manager and his office, we want to award you guys with a day at Two Bunch Palms and lunch. Two Bunch Palms Resort. So we'll work it out with you. We'll work it out with you and your family, but you'll get to spend the day at Two Bunch Palms Resort and have lunch on us and swim in the pool, and we'll see what else we can get for you on that day. But really deserving for everything you did. Thank you. Chief, you want to join me up here? I'm going to give the mic over to the chief to get this started.
All right, this is a long time coming. Hopefully I get through this without... We do cry at times, but I'm going to try to get through here without this. First of all, I want to, before I talked about Detective Cole, I want to call out Sergeant Johnston and Chris Tooth. Come on up. Okay, unfortunately, we're losing these two individuals. When it's for the betterment of their families, I'm more than supportive, and I'm very supportive. I hate to lose anybody, but there's reasons why they're leaving. It's better opportunities, and I'm proud of both of them. Sergeant Johnston has done a great job with traffic enforcement, as well as K9 and Blitz, and he was working out as the sergeant here. Unfortunately, we got him from the East Coast, and he's going back to the East Coast. So I guess the hot weather got to him. But I'm very supportive in his decision, and it's the best for him at this time. So we're very supportive about that. Detective Tooth, what can I say? He's one of the individuals that has my hair turning gray and the top of my head losing hair. He's a great patrol officer. We got him in the detective division. He ended up working GIT. And the reason our detective division is so strong is for an individual like Detective Tooth. Detective Tooth has worked the gang impact team, which is out of the DA's office. And he's solved a lot of crimes, not just for us, but for the Coachella Valley. And I hate to see him lose or leave. He's very valuable to the police department, but just like Sergeant Johnston, he has a family. He's making a good decision for himself, so we're supportive. We're going to miss him. We're going to miss Sergeant Johnston, but let's give them both a hand because they've done a wonderful job for us. Now, when individuals leave, it gives opportunity for people to step up. So taking Sergeant Johnston's place is Sergeant Jimenez. He's not here today, but he's been acting as a sergeant for some time now, and he's going to fill in great for that position. Taking over for Detective Tooth, and he has big shoes to fill, is Officer Chris James, now Detective James. He is one of our traffic officers, and now he's working the Detective Bureau. So give Detective James a hand. Okay, now comes a sad day for the city of Desert Hot Springs and the police department. Detective Eddie Cole. Here with Detective Eddie Cole is his wife, April Cole, and Jason Ryan. Why don't you guys stand up? Let's give them a hand. Okay, to try to make this somewhat short, I'm going to go through Eddie Cole's little hero sheet. It goes on forever, but then again, I think it starts back in the Wild West. Eddie Cole graduated from Rio Hondo Police Academy, which is in Whittier, in June of 1983. Beginning on December 5th, 1983, until his date of retirement, which is officially September 27th, although we're not letting him out. We want to make sure he makes it to Wisconsin, so this is really kind of his official last day, although the 27th will be his last day. December 5th, 1983, started with the City of Los Angeles Housing Authority. December of 1988, he transferred the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. In June of 1990, he returned to the Los Angeles Housing Authority. July of 1995, he worked for the City of Hawaiian Gardens, and we'll talk about Hawaiian Gardens here in a second. And then September 27th in 1997, Detective Cole started with the Desert Hot Springs Police Department. And he's been here since. When I said it's a loss for the city, Detective Cole did a lot for the city of Desert Hot Springs. He had a homeless food program that he fed all the homeless on Thanksgiving in this general area, correct? In fact, I think on this plot of land there was a car automotive place that was sitting on here, and he would feed them there. There's not a day where we go out on a call and right away, where's Officer Cole? I want to talk to Officer Cole. Same with the lobby. Hey, can I help you? I want to talk to Detective Cole. That's it. And the lobby plays a significant portion. We'll talk about that later. But I'm going to miss Eddie Cole. I love Eddie Cole. He has been here ever since I've been here. We've worked Hawaiian Gardens together too. And we've had times where it's been rough, and Eddie Cole helped me through this. So I'm actually outlasting you this time. His famous words is, we've gone through a lot of chiefs here. And his famous line when things would get tough is, chiefs come, chiefs go, but I'll be here. So I'm glad I'm the chief that stood that time and gets to let him go out. I met Eddie Cole at Hawaiian Gardens. I came from the city of San Marino to Hawaiian Gardens, and unbeknownst to me, Eddie Cole used to work at the city of San Marino, not as a police officer, but an ambulance driver. So unbeknownst to me, when I go over there, he had preconceived notions of how I was going to be as an officer, because all we do in San Marino is pick up papers and turn off water. No crime happens there. So back in 2000, we had our version of the challenge coin. It was called Pogs. The little circular things that look like baseball cards, except they're circular. And so my first day there, they handed all of us some Pogs, and I go out and patrol. A couple days later, I'm riding patrol in the city of Hawaiian Gardens, and I have about 7, 8 kids chasing my police car, and they're going, dog catcher, and I'm all, wow. The sheriff's department must not have done a good job, because they think a police car is the dog catcher. So I pull over to the side, and they got my Pogs in there. I go, I'm a police officer. Why are you calling me dog catcher? Well, Officer Cole gave us these pogs and said to call you dog catcher. And so from then, it's been an experience. Thank God we've never had an officer killed in the line of duty in Desert Hot Springs. However, I was almost our first casualty. As we get older, our eyesight starts to go. And especially at night with Eddie, we started making sure that people would drive him to locations. We were working a shooting scene on 8th Street, and we were picking up shell casings. So I'm at the corner of Palm and 8th, just a little west of there, and Eddie's down the street. So we call Eddie down, and I'm standing over one of the shell casings to make sure it doesn't get run over. And we see Eddie coming down, and the other detectives are off to the side, and I'm standing in the middle of the street waiting for Eddie to stop before he gets to me. Car keeps rolling. He keeps rolling. And I'm all, man, he's playing a joke. Right at the last second, I jumped out of the way. The car goes past me. It stops. He gets out. I go, Eddie, you almost killed me. He's all, where were you? I didn't see you. So that's Eddie Cole for you. I'm going to turn this over to the mayor, but like I said, he's going to be tremendously missed by me alone. I mean, whenever I needed to check to see what was going on with the police department, I could ask Eddie, and he would tell me, man, you screwed up on that one. He was always there to keep me in line. Fortunately, he's going back to Wisconsin because he likes his Green Bay Packers. I don't know why. But we could talk more about that tomorrow at his retirement dinner, but I don't know why he's leaving. He has the Rams here, and they just won the Super Bowl, but anyways, let me turn this over to the mayor. Mayor Mattis.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen at the dinner tomorrow night, but I'm sure there's going to be a few stories told. But we're live to the public right now, so we're going to tell nice stories about you, Eddie. But just one real quick one. I during my time volunteering at the volunteer fire department here, when the police department started, this man shows up one day to a call, and he's got this holster hanging down here. And every firefighter was scared of him ever since. We didn't know how big that gun was, but he always said it was big. So, but on behalf of the city, we wanted to give you a proclamation, and I want to read that to you, and then we've got another presentation for you. But the proclamation basically says, I always thought your name was Eddie, not Edward. Why do they have Edward on here then? We'll fix that for you.
That's his retirement name.
The clerks are going, what? What did I do? I'm going to say Eddie in here, but whereas Eddie Cole began his law enforcement career in 1983, holding the position of police officer, field training officer, and deputy sheriff, and whereas Eddie Cole joined the Desert Hot Springs Police Department on September 27, 1997. That was the year the police department came back to Desert Hot Springs. This man's been here ever since. That's rewarding right there. As a police officer, and would go on to hold the additional titles of police patrol sergeant and police detective. And whereas in addition to Eddie's role as husband and father, Eddie Cole has served the community of Desert Hot Springs with his contributions to the community's outreaches, such as organizing and serving the homeless during the holiday season. And whereas as of September 27, 2022, Detective Eddie Cole will put down his former titles and wear the final title, a well-earned title, retired law enforcement officer. And whereas I, Scott Mattis, Mayor of the City of Desert Hot Springs, do hereby join the other members of our City Council in proclaiming tomorrow, September 21st, 2022, Eddie Cole Day in Desert Hot Springs. We're going to make you stand again in a few minutes, but sit down for now. And on behalf of the City Council, I'm going to give you the key to the City of Desert Hot Springs, which you earned. Now I hear the chief's changed his lock, but every other keyhole in the City of Desert Hot Springs this goes in, but this will actually be mounted on a plaque with that proclamation and other verbiage on that for you. But I wanted to give this to you. You've deserved this after all the service you've given to Desert Hot Springs. Now, we're not done. We have a video. So we'll watch up here.
Hey Eddie, congratulations on your retirement. All of us here at Desert Hot Springs are going to miss you and your humor and your experience of 25 years with the Desert Hot Springs Police Department and 40 years of service in law enforcement. Thank you for your service and your dedication. One last walk down the hallway here for you. We just wanted to show you a couple things before your retirement. We've placed in the hallway here, so anybody coming and going from the building are always going to remember Eddie Cole and his contribution to the city and to the police department here. We've got your picture up here in the hallway, so we'll never forget who Eddie Cole was and the smile that he always brought to us here at Desert Hot Springs. Over here we have the history of Eddie Cole's clamshell holster. So in your own words, we've been able to memorialize this so that officers new and old, as they come here, they can read this and understand what this holster meant to you and how it followed you through your 40-year career in law enforcement. One last thing, come on out into the lobby here, Eddie. We'd like to present one last thing to you, but I'm going to take 1 second. I think the mayor has a few words he'd like to say. So Mayor, take it away.
Eddie, 20-something years now of service. Now, how many years is that? Somebody add that up real quick. That's a lot of years of service. But on behalf of the city of Desert Hot Springs, we wanted not just memorialize you in the back of the police department, we want to memorialize you in the front of the police department. So there's going to be a plaque put in the front of the police department in the lobby, and it's going to say Detective Eddie Cole, Police Headquarters Lobby. And the lobby of the city of Desert Hot Springs Police Department is going to be dedicated after you.
Thanks, Mayor. And now may I present the Detective Eddie Cole, Police Headquarters Lobby.
Okay, so now that we gave him the key to the city, you all know that Eddie carries around a set of about 100 keys. And the running joke is whenever somebody gets locked out, go, Eddie doesn't have those keys, he's not authorized to have those keys. And lo and behold, that door gets open. So I'm going to turn it over to Detective Eddie Cole.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Council, City staff, City Manager, and all you guests that came out, and my brothers and sisters in blue in the back. Thank you guys for all of this. And now that I stand here with all of you looking at me, I still sometimes wonder, why can't I wear white after Labor Day? I'm a little nervous, I'm just trying to. But I started here in 1997, September 27th. I was police officer 27, and I'll leave here on September 27th. I always tried to think of, you go to Disneyland and they always have the scariest roller coaster rides, wherever, Six Flags. And in my time here, I always try to think of what could I name Desert Hot Springs after the roller coaster ride I had in 25 years. And I haven't come up with a name yet. I would like to thank my wife who supported me for the longest time. It got kind of rocky for us for a while, but things are working out. She was always there for me, and as you can see, she's here today supporting me again as I finally get off that rocky roller coaster ride. And I'll answer the question that everybody want to know. Everybody goes, what are you going to do after this? And my answer is be a husband for once. For the last almost 40 years, I've been getting up and going to work. And I remember when I started here in 1997, and I'd go to the Riverside County Jail to book people, and they go, oh, Desert Hot Springs, huh? You guys are only going to be there 6 months, and then you'll be gone. You're the 3rd police department there. Then I go, no, we'll be fine. They go, no, you'll be gone. The sheriff's already got a sergeant and 2 deputies picked out to take over Desert Hot Springs. And I said, no, I don't think so. So he issued the challenge, and I took it up. And I said I was going to do everything I could to make sure this department stay here. And I worked long hours and a lot of days in a row, but, I just kept seeing we'd move up, and then we'd have a nice group of officers, and then a few years later, we'd go back down. But I just kept trying because I was just dedicated to meeting that challenge and beating them at that challenge. And now it's 25 years later, and we're still here. And I hope we continue to stay here as I walk away to start a new life. I hope the Desert Hot Springs Police continue to strive and do all the things that they want to do. And we've been making a lot of difference in the community and making a lot of difference in crime. We're doing really good at solving homicides and catching pedophiles and everything else. We got a strong detective bureau back there. We got a great group of new officers that's just trying to learn and find their way. But I think they came to the right place, and if they want to learn how to be a policeman, then this is the place to do it. I've went around this valley, and I've met a lot of police officers and deputies, and excuse me, and I come up and they go, oh, Eddie Cole, oh, you're a legend in the Coachella Valley. And, or your reputation precedes you. And I don't know what it takes to be a legend. I never considered myself one, but I took my oath in 1983 as a police officer. I took it very serious. And I just decided that, you know what, as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, I contacted people, I respected people, I treated them all fair and equal, no matter what their economic status was, what their race was, what their sexual orientation was. I treated everybody fair and equal, the same way I would hope if someone ran into one of my family members, they would treat them the same way. And I feel like if that's what made me hard work and being dedicated, if that's what they consider me a legend, then I'm going to wear that proudly for my years of service, and especially to the city of Desert Hot Springs. Thank you.
Okay, hold on one sec. We're not done yet.
Not yet.
515 your side?
I said thank you.
5944. Are you feel free to reconsider? Go ahead.
Can it be last of black? First, John Adam Robert Edward, middle name of Ocean Tom Henry Edward Lincoln, DOP 511 of
Did you tell us they probably were trying to do this?
Work goes on.
25 years, you can't let him at least have a minute.
Charles King.
Copy.
707-97, clear for ending.
707, go ahead.
74771.9.
Copy at 1803.
302, can we get you guys to go to channel 2 for a minute? We have that special assignment for you here.
Confirming you want me to go to 2?
Can we get 33? We're going to need you here to assist us with something on the radio.
units, hold your traffic. Dispatch all units, stand by for Detective Eddie Cole's last call. Detective Eddie Cole started his law enforcement career in 1981 with the Los Angeles Housing Authority Police Department. In 1989, he left Los Angeles and ventured out to where he worked for Hawaiian Gardens PD and Riverside County Sheriff's Department. In 1997, Detective Cole joined the Desert Hot Springs Police Department. During the last 25 years, Detective Cole's assignments included patrol, sergeant, and detective. Detective Cole's final assignment is in the Detective Bureau, where although assigned to investigate all types of cases, Detective Cole specializes in sex crime investigations. Over the last 25 years, Detective Cole has displayed an unwavering commitment to the department and city of Desert Hot Springs. Along the way, he has been a friend and a mentor to all. Detective Cole is not only admired and respected by his friends and coworkers, but by the community of Desert Hot Springs. On September 27th, 2022, Detective Cole will hang up his duty belt and retire with over 40 years of law enforcement experience and service. Detective Cole, David 404, the Desert Hot Springs Police Department and City of Desert Hot Springs thanks you for your 25 years of dedicated service. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best. You will be missed by all. Dispatch clear, time at 18:05.
Oh, can I say something? Yep.
Let dispatch know.
What am I supposed to say to this? Thank you very much. And I'm out. Oh, I just want to say one more thing before I go.
Dispatch copies, 1806.
I know I thanked everybody in here today, but I want to take my thanks back from Detective Tooth. Because he's the reason why I can't drink Starbucks coffee. And I shake every time I pass one. And I'll tell you why. He was my partner for a long time. And he'd come in the morning, he'd always go, "Hey, let's go get some Starbucks." And I go, "Oh, okay, let me grab my vest." "Oh, you don't need your vest. We just go into Starbucks. We'll be right back." At least 3 different times I fell for that. And one time he left me in the middle of the street. The second time he left me in the street with a suspect. And the third time I was helping him out and I ripped my pants all the way down the seam. So I want my thanks back to him. But I was just saying that but now he's leaving, so I was just going to warn all the future officers, don't go to Starbucks with this man. If he tells you, he'll be right back. Thank you.
We're going to take about a 10 to 15 minute recess. If you want to come take pictures with Eddie, you're more than welcome to. Thank you. If I can get the city council to start making their way back. If I can get the city council to start making its way back. Gerald, is my mic on? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Can you run the video?
The Mayor and City Council welcome you to the Desert Hot Springs City Council meeting. As a courtesy to others, please silence all phones. Please complete a speaker request form, which can be found to the left of the entrance to the City Council chambers, if you would like to address the City Council on a non-agenda item. If you would like to comment on an agenda item, a speaker request form is not required. Public comments will be heard during the agenda item. Please submit the completed speaker request form to the city clerk seated to the left of the speaker podium. All speakers will have 3 minutes to complete their comments. A countdown timer will appear on the screens located around the council chambers. All comments are to be directed to the City Council and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum. Due to the Brown Act, which is California's open meeting laws, only items listed on the agenda can be addressed by the City Council. The City Council is unable to respond to matters raised on non-agenda items. However, please be aware that your comments will be noted. The speaker's name will be called to speak at the appropriate time in the order that the forms are received. Thank you for your interest and participation in the Desert Hot Springs City Council meeting.
I will call to order the City of Desert Hot Springs regular meeting of the City Council, and the City Council serving as the successor agency to the former Redevelopment Agency Board for Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. This is our 6 p.m. regular session. May I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Betts.
Present.
Councilmember Nunez.
Present.
Councilmember Pai.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Present.
And Mayor Mattis.
Present. And tonight, Ms. Pai is going to give the invocation.
Two quotes. First one, patient takes courage. It is not an ideal state of calm. In fact, when we practice patient, we will see our agitation more clearly. Perma Shodgren. You do not have a problem except the one that is in your own mind, and you put it there. Merle Philman.
That's a good one. All right, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
Absolutely. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our next item is going to be the report on closed session by our city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. We have no reportable action items.
Thank you. At this time, we'll approve the agenda. While approving the agenda, we're going to also approve the consent calendar, which has one item on it. And unless anybody needs to pull it, is there any comments in the audience on the one consent item, which is our minutes meeting? Meeting minutes? I got that backwards. If I don't see anybody coming forth, I got a motion and a second. If you can do them on the screen there. All right, please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, we'll move to public comments at this time pursuant to the Brown Act. Any person may comment on matters of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council not listed on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the City Council shall not take action on or discuss matters raised during public comment portion of the agenda that are not listed on the agenda. All comments are to be directed to the City Council and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. I have 3 blue cards filled out. If you didn't fill one out, we'll get you to do that afterwards, but we'll start with Tom Moen.
I'm Tom Moen, a 43-year resident of Desert Hot Springs. Both of my sons call Desert Hot Springs their hometown, and I'm proud of them. They're both college graduates and functioning adults. And I owe a great big thanks to many people in Desert Hot Springs because many people here took an interest in my sons. I heard something today, and I asked some questions, something about Tranquility Park. And from what I've heard about it, it sounds like a good idea. And I know we'll probably hear more in the months to come. And I'd also like to add that as our city grows and gets older, let's remember that many, many hands have had a part in this city. From the first incorporation of the city in 1963 up until the founding of the police force, and I'm glad I was on that committee. Paul Miller, who was here, was on that committee, and many, many folks gave their personal time. And that's what's nice about Desert Hot Springs. It is a nice town. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom. Next is Michael Duff.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members. My name is Michael Duff. I'm a resident of Desert Hot Springs, and I'm a voter. I come here this evening to discuss the issue of short-term rentals and the ordinance the city approved during a special meeting on August 2nd. I'm not sure if the council's aware, but as of today, nothing has been done. There is no code enforcement working on the weekends, no special security hotline, nothing. Just a promise by city staff that they are working on it. I live with short-term rentals on either side of me. 2 more across the street, 3 more in my development, and at least 3 behind my home, 1 or more of which is not licensed. When the council called a special meeting on August 2nd and unanimously passed the new STR ordinance, I had hoped that the city had my back in helping protect my wife and child from the numerous unknown individuals who frequent these short-term rentals on a daily basis. Now I no longer have hope. If the city was not ready to enact a new ordinance, then it should not have called a special meeting and wasted everyone's time. The council should have simply told the residents the truth. But instead, the council patted each other on the back for a job well done, thanked each other for finding the time to hold such an important special meeting. Is there a communication breakdown with the council, or is it with city staff? This was not a complicated ordinance to carry out. And it sure does not give me confidence that the city council can carry out solutions to more complicated problems facing this city. Please take note, my voice is loud and will be heard at election time. If this council cannot ensure its residents are safe and not prevented from the use and enjoyment of their property. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Eddie Johnson.
Mayor, council members, city officials, and residents of Desert Hot Springs. I'm going to compliment the public workers on what an outstanding job they're doing in this town. I've been around the desert here a lot of years and a lot of places recently. This town is gorgeous. Every time you drive in, everything is done right. Public workers, they deserve a lot of respect for that. And they're doing the Veterans Park now, too, getting ready for our Veterans Day ceremony coming up in November. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eddie. Anyone else like to speak to the city council? This is the time to do it on non-agenda items. Yes, sir, you may come up, announce, state your name, and then when you're done, if you could fill out one of the blue forms for us and just hand it to the clerk, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Ronald Reed. I've lived here for quite some time. My issue is simple. The intersection of Mesquite and Ironwood, where a lot of the people that live in that facility park on the streets because of lack of parking. It makes it very easy, or very hard actually, to see oncoming traffic because Ironwood is a through street right there. And people go barreling through there quite frequently. And that's commonly used for kids to get to the elementary schools. My request is for the planning commissioner or whoever needs to take a look at making that a four-way stop. Plain and simple. And it'd be a lot safer for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience like to speak to the city council? Final call. We'll close the public comments this time. We'll move the city manager's report. Mr. City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. We have updates from several departments. We're going to start right from the City Manager's department with our Deputy City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and residents. To address first and foremost the STVR concern during the public comment, to give the public an update. So as our resident had mentioned, the new regulations are in effect, so that's really great news for the community. Those went into effect the beginning of September. We are continuing to ramp up the implementation of Rentalscape, which is the new STVR software that we're implementing. In the meantime, host compliance is still in effect, and the hotline still does work to report through host compliance any violations of our tougher regulations in the short-term vacation rental ordinance. We are continuing to work with iSecurum, which is the firm that City Council authorized staff to move forward with for the compliance on the weekends. They are starting the end of September. In the meantime, reporting of violations can still be done through the host compliance hotline or through calling the non-emergency dispatch line, where PD will be, until iSecurum starts, going out and doing the enforcement, and have been doing the enforcement until iSecurum starts. So the great news is the tougher regulations are in effect. We're in the last final stages of implementing the new software, and iSecurum will be on board the end of this month, which will relieve PD of that enforcement on the weekends and after hours.
Thanks, Doria. And a finance update from our Administrative Services Director, Jeffrey Buckheim.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. As of September 20th, our preliminary unaudited fiscal year 21-22 numbers are as follows. The fiscal year 21-22 revenues were over $29.7 million, which was 94% of the amended budget. And last year we had ended at $25 million, and the year before that was at $23 million. For fiscal year 2021-22, expenditures are $29.2 million, which was 92% of the budget. The previous year, we ended the year at $24 million, and the 2 years ago was at $22.4 million.
Thanks, Jeffrey. And moving on to our Public Works Director.
Good evening. County is continuing the road construction on Mountain View Road from Hacienda Avenue to Dillon Road. The road is not closed, but there are flaggers on site to control traffic. This project is projected to be completed in 3 to 4 weeks. Please drive with precaution in the construction zone. Restricted access for illegal dumping locations. Installation of metal gates have been and will continue to be installed at multiple locations that are high illegal dumping sites. The intent is to restrict access so people do not dump in our city and cause health and wellness issues. Utilities that have access, that need access to these locations, would be allowed to daisy chain their locks to our city locks and allow them access. These locations have been verified to not impact residential access. The following locations are Palm Drive and 20th Avenue, Birch Road and Dior Avenue, Karen Avenue, and about a half a mile south of Mission Links Boulevard or north of Via Diablo. Efforts like this will continue throughout the city to eliminate illegal dumping. The Musco Field Lights at Mission Springs Park, sports lighting. The light towers on the south side of the field have been installed. The contractor is currently working on the wiring. Turn on is scheduled for the end of this week. At Warman Park, the light towers at the Little League field have been installed. When the contractor is done at Mission Springs Park, they will work on the wiring and the power box installation at Warman Park. This concludes Public Works update.
Thanks, Nick. And then finally, from our Executive Program Director, Roberta Cernick.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and residents. I wanted to talk about some new programs we have at the Health and Wellness Center and some upcoming events that we have scheduled. Yoga classes will be starting next week. Classes for children will be held every Wednesday, ages 7 to 12 at 2 o'clock, and then ages 12 to 17 at 3 o'clock. And the adult classes will be held every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. And Zumba is back every Tuesday, actually starting tonight. Classes are held from 6:30 to 7:30. And we'll be holding a cooking class on how to bake a pie like a pro on Tuesday, October 4th from 5 to 7:30. You can learn how to make pie dough, a sweet pie, a savory quiche, and a fruit galette. And then now on to some upcoming events. We have our Dia de los Muertos event, which will be held on Saturday, October 15th from 4 to 9 p.m. in the parking lot at the Desert Hot Springs Recreation Center. We will have face painting, crafts, food vendors, music, and a low rider showcase. Admission is free for this event. The Desert Hot Springs Rotary will be hosting a job and health fair at the Desert Hot Springs Health and Wellness Center on Saturday, October 22nd from 9 to 2. And we will be having our Veterans Day ceremony at Veterans Park on Friday, November 11th at 10 a.m. And finally, I want everyone to save the date for our annual holiday parade and festival that is scheduled for Saturday, December 10th at 5:45 p.m. For more details and all up-to-date information, you can visit the city's Facebook page or website. Thank you.
Thanks, Roberta. That concludes my report.
Thank you guys very much for all the hard work you're doing. I'll move the mayor's and council members' comments. I'll start with Ms. Pye tonight.
On September 21, the Palm Springs Cemetery District will restart their meetings for the pet cemetery. And it will be on the same location as Duval. On the 21st, CVAG is having its homeless committee. On September 27th, the airport is doing a strategic plan. Part of it is capital events, and it's going to last from 12 in the afternoon till 8. So it's a long thing. And Robert Griffith is now the new director. He replaced Randy Duncan, and the nomination was made by Mr. Director Gracia and seconded by Director Martin. That's it.
Great. Mr. Nunez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. The only thing I have as far as meetings, I have tomorrow the CVEP meeting that happens at 9 a.m. I want to thank the staff, the public for coming up and making comments. I'm not sure if we gave Mr. Duff contact information for ISOCURM. Can we get like maybe magnets or cards with that reporting hotline? That way we can give out, maybe have them here and then pass them out for residents. And then the only thing I'd say is that when are we having when are we having the beer yoga at the rec? That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Sign me up. Mr. Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I sympathize with my colleague, Ms. Pye, on those 8-hour meetings, and of course, we know most of the Palm Springs Airport one's going to be discussing their new logo, right? Which is terribly controversial. We just came back from vacation and launched into 1.5 million meetings, so I'll be as quick as I can here. We had a mosquito vector control board meeting, nothing of direct interest to DHS, but we are having a lot more mosquitoes valley-wide, including DHS this year, and the heavy rain lately, they've sort of come out in mass, so please, please, please check for any standing water in your yard. Things like the drip trays under pots, the kids' old toys in the backyard, old tires, anything that's got any water in it. A mosquito only needs a tablespoon of water to breed in. So if we can get rid of the standing water, we'll solve a lot of those problems. And if you still have continual problems, then I would encourage you to call Vector Control, and they can schedule a treatment of your yard if you need to. We did a Coachella Valley Conservation Commission meeting. Purchased some parcels in the Mission Creek area for the multi-species habitat conservation plan, and a few from tax sales as well. We had a long discussion as well for support for the proposed Chuckwalla National Monument and the expansion of Joshua Tree National Park. And if those two things come to fruition, the valley will be completely surrounded by national monuments and national parks, which will be a huge boon to tourism. The monument's still in its kind of conceptual phase, but moving forward with both congressional and executive branch approvals. We had a Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy meeting as well this last week, and a couple of items of note there. The trail development in Desert Hot Springs for two of the trails that we're looking to improve, add signage, trailhead, and things like that, being Blind Canyon and Big Morongo Canyon, are still undergoing the EIR, and the EIR should be done by the end of November, and with any luck, we should see some construction starting early next year on those. And lastly, wanted to remind everybody that the Desert Hot Springs Historical Society Soup Supper, coming up a week from Friday the 29th of September. The speaker is a gentleman named Warner Graves, who will be telling a rather fascinating tale of his grandmother and her friend, who were the first postmasters of Mecca, and they explored the desert around the same time as Cabot Yerxa did, and they took a lot of photos that they sold as postcards, and it's a very fascinating program that he'll be putting on. DHS Historical Society members, $25, non-members are $30, and you can purchase tickets on the DHS Historical Society webpage. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Mr. Betts?
Wow, I thought by the time we got here, I'd be saying, yeah, what all they said about the league event that we all attended. And
Oh, yeah, you're all supposed to report on.
Huh? It's okay.
We'll report for them.
Yeah. Anyhow, the council and key city staff attended a League of California Cities event in Long Beach, and that's where every city council member from all over the state, well, every city just about is represented there. And basically you go there and there's a lot of seminars, or we call them breakout sessions, where you have a panel of speakers. There's General Assembly business of the league where you vote. Then there's, what is it, like where all the vendors that serve cities.
Trade show.
Yeah, trade show, and that's basically where you go there. And if you walk that, I've walked it many times, you hand out your card, you're getting all these calls back, and when the calls come in, you say, well, you don't want to talk to me, you want to talk to staff. So I didn't pass out any cards at that one this time. And then we also had a regional conference where it's just all the Riverside County City Councils meet and conduct business. And congratulations to Gary for getting appointed to that board. Am I correct? Yes. And but one of the things I find is really beneficial is when you get to talk to the council members from other parts of the state that you don't normally cross in our travels, either to the regional boards and commissions where we serve, and you learn a lot on the issues that they're facing. I won't bore you with all the meetings I went to. I went to a couple of the breakout sessions, an ethics training session, which was very interesting, and then another one that was on housing. I was a little disappointed in the one on housing because it just seemed to be a cheerleading section for the legislature's idea of what cities are supposed to do. And while they're all up there thinking they've done a good job, I heard a bunch of moans and groans in the audience saying, well, we don't agree with that. I would like to have seen it and get to be a little bit more informative than it was. But the main thing was meeting everybody else. And when I did get together on Thursday with a group of council members from other parts, mostly Northern California, surprise, surprise, the issues that came up was homelessness. And then crime was a big issue, shoplifting, and then also those cities that were involved in the cannabis trade were expressing a lot of concerns over the where that market is going. It's not all money flowing. It's a lot of concern over prices dropping. So through all that, I ended up, we had this conference where it's multiple days, and I had to race off to LA traffic early in the morning to go to the Airport Land Use Commission meeting. I managed to get there, went there with Mayor Steve Manos, and quite a wild ride through the city streets to get there on time, and then through LA, and then came back and had that other meeting. So anyhow, it was a very good event. I don't know, Mayor, you'll probably get more detail on it than that, but it was very worthwhile. It's always really good to meet those council members. That's just what I always find to be the best. Sometimes I'll just sit out there and you sit at a table and just sit down with a group of people and start talking, and you gain a lot out of that. Closer to home, just attended the CVAG Energy and Environment Committee, and Salton Sea came up on the agenda again, and so what's normally a 1-hour meeting turned into a 2-hour meeting. All 9 cities in the Coachella Valley, the Torres Martinez tribe, and the College of the Desert have signed resolutions. They want an engineering, not a study, but the actual engineering done to bring seawater in from the Sea of Cortez to fill up the Salton Sea. We've had that going for a few years now. Never seemed to get any traction with the people who are actually meeting and trying to do the plan. So what happened this time, at last meeting, I'm a little encouraged, is I think it has something to do with maybe the Colorado River is not producing the amount of water that everybody wants, and everybody's now starting to look like where we're going to get this water. So this plan of bringing water from sea to sea, and then a desalination plant, yeah, I smell that too.
Do we need to take a break? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to take a break. There's some maybe possible electrical, some type of fire in the building
Did I
here.
burn up the
I'm going
mic?
to have everybody exit the building to outside, and we'll call the meeting back to order. City Council, if you can exit that way. We still need to leave and have everybody exit for right now until the fire department determines that. Thank you. No.
Getting worried for a big, beautiful new city hall.
Can I start all over with your comments? No, I'm not going to start all over, but I'll take off where it was.
All right, we're back on, Gerald? We're good? All right, I want to apologize to everybody. We just had a little bit of smoke in the building, but it ends up possibly being an AC unit or something, but it's nothing major, and the fire department's still going to come by and get it all checked out, so no fire. City Hall is still standing. With that, I'll go back to you, Russ.
Thanks. So I had a theory on what that smell is. You know, these people have been driving around town doing the donuts and spinning their tires.
That's what it smells like.
Probably got the intersection out front and blew in. Let's see, where wasn't I when I was talking about this stuff? Attended the 60th anniversary celebration of Joshua Tree National Park Association. Wow, 60 years. It was a very active, well-attended event up in Yucca Valley. Good people there. We've got quite a connection to Joshua Tree National Park, so I thought it was good to go. I had many detailed meetings with residents this past week, and I had 3 in a row on Monday. And it was like they all got together and had the same complaints. And it was like 3 hours of getting pounded with some people that weren't happy with stuff going on in the city. And I think I'm going to use this analogy as if there's a parking lot and you drop a piece of paper in the middle of that parking lot, somebody does, and the city goes by, you know, everybody walks by and sees that piece of paper in the lot, you go, wow, look, there's a piece of paper, it's not working. But if the city goes and picks it up, now everybody goes about their day, they don't know anything happened. And I know there's a lot of concern over the homeless and the homelessness in the city and the shopping carts and those type of issues, and people are seeing that and they're a little upset about it right now. And but I tell them, you know, I get the reports from city staff and they're diligently out there picking up these stray shopping carts. There's lots of times when we're helping residents who are in the city who are suffering maybe something was missing out of their yard or something, or whatever the other effects are of some of these people that are here in town. And so we're helping people as we can, but we're out there doing this stuff. So anyhow, it was, if you're interested in discussion, nice long detailed discussion, happy to talk and meet with you on that. Want a couple things here on the public comments. The Ocotillo and Mesquite and Ironwood. I've driven that. It's really dangerous. Can we please, I know I've asked staff a few times over the years, we've had many people come here over the years. The entire public thinks that's a dangerous intersection. And I always explain to people, trying to get an engineer to put in a four-way stop is just like, it's like an act of God is needed to get that done. But I'll ask the city staff again to take a very close look at that intersection and see if you can get a stop sign there. It's much needed. And then on the subject with the Airbnbs, I'm a little disappointed that we don't have the hotline and everything in place that should have been. We are now at this meeting, we would have been taking that up again if we hadn't had that special meeting. And we need to get a hotline to suggest that call the police or to call the regular emergency number. It's just not working. Our police are too busy with other stuff and they're not effective. I had one over the weekend. They called, so I go there and they said the line's not working. So I go down there and I knock on the door, and the guy, he wasn't renting it, he was a visitor. And I explained to him, I said, you got to turn down the music. The regulations are no music outside. He says, really, none? I said, yeah, think about it. If at your house, do you have music next door to you every day? And he says, no, I don't. I said, well, you're here today. Tomorrow will be somebody else. The next will be somebody else. It's just a constant noise next door to these people that have no peace and quiet. And the guy was real nice, real reasonable, and he said, you know what? Okay, great. I'll go do that. And they turned down the music, and that was the end of it. But I'm not the one that's supposed to be doing that. You guys have got to get the system in place. There's people out there all over the city living next to these vacation rentals that are having this trouble, and we need to redouble our efforts and get a hotline in place, and whoever's supposed to go and knock on those doors, let's get them hired and get that going. What date do we have set for those people to be on staff and ready to go? Is it the 26th?
It is the 26th of September, and there is a hotline in place through host compliance currently. It's the same hotline that's been in place for the last 2 years. The only change is that we're switching over to a new company called Rentalscape. So as soon as Rentalscape is in effect, the hotline number will switch, but there is a hotline currently in place. And what happens is when that a report comes in, rather than being dispatched to I-Securum, which starts on the 26th, it's being dispatched to our police department currently on the weekends.
Okay,
so there is a system that's still operating right now until the official switch over.
Okay, and we have a good neighbor brochure that's on the vacation rental part of the website. We get that pulled down?
So yes, there was a good neighbor brochure that was literally to be a good neighbor in the city, but now that terminology is being utilized for short-term vacation rentals, so there will be a swap of those brochures on the website.
Okay, because some of that, you go to one place and they say, and I don't want to get an agenda item here, this will be the last I say on this, was you go there and they say, well, look, I looked at this brochure and it says we're allowed to have music till 10. And they got this piece of paper in their hand, and how do you argue with them on that? So anyhow, I won't belabor that anymore, but we're really pleased. There's people out there that are crying for relief from these vacation rentals. Last thing I want to say is tomorrow is a memorial service for Lou Stewart, and I'm inviting everybody to attend. He's a very important figure here in the city and in the valley. Never held office, but very active. A lot of people relied on him for help. A lot of the city council members. It'll be at 6 p.m. at the Miracle Springs Resort. I'm going to be speaking along with, in Lou's honor, and along with a few other people. And we've just really lost a good one when we lost Lou. So just invite everybody to attend. And then I understand we have an event also that day for Eddie Cole. Is that at 6? So probably be a little late for that if you could let Eddie know. So yeah, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple things. I don't have a lot today, but I'll start with the cleanup committee. So Mr. Nunez has joined me to work on that, and we've actually been working with our Code Enforcement Department City Manager's Office, and we're coming up with a phased program that I think will be really great for the community. We'll be unveiling that at the second meeting in October to the City Council for funding, and we'll explain that more then. On September 11th, the VFW held a memorial event for the 9/11 tragedy. Our police department was honored with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department and CAL FIRE on their services to our community. VFW has been doing a fantastic job under the new leadership of Jeff Cole, and wanted to continue to support that. So my wife and I were able to attend. Ms. Pye was able to attend also, and our police chief was there to accept the award for our city. So it was very nice of them. And then, as explained by Councilmember Betts, all the city council and key staff was invited to attend the League of California Cities, which is now, I always say League of California Cal Cities. It's changed its name and they're rebranding a little bit, but basically it's a large portion of all cities in the state of California participate. They're able to meet once a year, and so they rotated from Southern to Northern California, and I haven't been in probably 7 or 8 years. There was a little lull there towards the recession time, and we weren't really traveling, and then COVID hit, so I really haven't been to these. So it was good to go back and refresh, and a lot of it comes down to networking. There's a lot of great classes or seminars that our staff was able to attend, and council members, but really what it comes down to is networking and seeing what other cities are doing and how they're dealing with their problems. And it comes back after 16 years on the city council. It reminds me when you go to these events that Desert Hot Springs isn't alone. We all basically face the same things, just in different magnitudes. Homeless is a problem in almost every city. Crime can be a problem depending on the crimes in almost every city. So it's how do they deal with it and what are they doing to think outside the box. So you're always networking and getting those ideas and hoping that you can help give ideas to your staff and present things that are going to help your city move forward. So it was a good event. Ms. Pye reminded me to let everybody know that Friday morning most of our staff decided to come home early because of the rain that day. That hurricane was coming through, tropical storm by the time it hit us, and so they left early to prepare for the floods. And I wanted to thank our staff for being here to get that all prepared and make sure that everybody was taken care of. It hit us pretty well, but not as hard as I think that they thought it might. So I think we fared very well, and I saw cleanup efforts not long after that. So thank you to our staff for all the hard work you do. And I can't make comments on any of the STVR things because 2 council members have, and it'll become a agenda item at that point, so I won't. But as you heard, there's a lot of good things going on in our community to help fix those issues. So, or I hear Mr. Betts is out doing enforcement now, so you can call him up. He'll come help enforce for you. With that said, we're going to move to the agenda items. First one is the administrative calendar, item number 3, which is reimbursement agreement with Palm Springs Unified School District for school resource officers, SRO, services at Desert Hot Springs High School. And Chief, are you giving that report? You're pointing towards Deputy Chief. Deputy Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the City of Desert Hot Springs and the Palm Springs Unified School District have enjoyed a close working relationship. As part of that relationship, the School Resource Officer Program has provided benefits to both the district and the city. The School Resource Officer assists campus security with ensuring the safety of its students. The School Resource Officer also attends special school events and functions as needed. Annually, the City and Palm Springs Unified School District enter into an agreement for the School Resource Officer services at Desert Hot Springs High School. This agreement requires the City to provide a School Resource Officer from the Desert Hot Springs Police Department. The term of this agreement is for 2 years, from the date of agreement until June 7th, 2024. In exchange for the services, the Palm Springs Unified School District agrees to reimburse the city for the salary and benefits of the police officer assigned to perform the services. For the fiscal impact, estimated revenues were programmed from the Palm Springs Unified School District in the fiscal year 22-23 and 23-24 annual operating budget to cover the cost for one police officer at Desert Hot Springs High School for approximately 10 months each year. The recommendation is for the council to authorize the city manager to execute a 2-year reimbursement agreement with the Palm Springs Unified School District for the city to provide a school resource officer in the amount not to exceed $251,438.33 with any substantive changes except for price to be negotiated by the city manager. And that's my report. Happy to answer any questions for you.
Thank you, Chief. I will take public comments first. Does anybody in the audience like to speak to this item? I see nobody coming forth. I'll close public comments and I'll move to council member comments. Ms. Pye, anything? Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Chief, just one question. So that off time for 10 months, what happens the last 2 months? How do we utilize that resource officer?
So that's during time when school's not in session, and that officer normally goes back to patrol duties. Our current school resource officer, who actually happens to be in the audience here, Officer Rista, it came from the patrol division. So during the non-school operating time, he would go back and work a patrol assignment.
Very well, thank you, Chief.
Mr. Gardner? Mr. Betts?
I just want to say that the school environment seems to be considerably better than it was. I think probably part of that's attributable to the principal, but I also think it's because we got the school resource officer back in place. And so I want to thank you guys for your role in that. And what I'm hearing from everybody is it isn't a fight club around there anymore. So.
And I'll echo that. I'm really thrilled that we got this taken care of before the school season actually started, and that the school district's taking this seriously this time and really moving forward to make sure our kids are protected. And Officer Arisa, thank you for all you're doing on that campus and keeping our kids safe. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
And I'll move that we authorize city manager to execute the reimbursement agreement with Palm Springs Unified for the school resource officer.
Second.
We move them on the screen, second on the screen. Is there any more discussion? Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 4 is an ordinance amending section 8.28.030 of chapter 8.28 fireworks of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code. Eric, is it going to be you?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Today, I'm bringing you forward a fireworks ordinance. So the background, the City of Desert Hot Springs staff processes applications to operate legal fireworks stands within the city limits. Each year, staff reviews the issuance of fireworks stand permits and issues the approved amount set forth and approved by City Council. Over the last few years, staff has been receiving 5 applications for fireworks stands which have been approved by the City Council. Currently, Chapter 8.28 of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code allows for the issuance of 4 fireworks stands. To accommodate the previously approved applications, while allowing for a potential additional nonprofit organization to participate, staff is proposing to amend Title 8 of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code to allow for up to 6 fireworks stands. Also, staff is proposing to assign the city manager or designee to review fireworks stand applications. The adoption of this ordinance is categorically exempt from environmental review under California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15061B3 because it can be seen with certainty that there is no possibility that the adoption of this ordinance in question may have a significant effect on the environment. So we had the discussion with staff regarding the process of fireworks applications. As stated, we currently allow 4 and have typically seen 5 approved applications. The applications for the fireworks permits are submitted between the 30th day of March and the 6th day of April. Staff then created the report, routed to all applicable departments, drafted the report and ordinance with our attorney, which has now been routed, and here it is presented to you today. The recommendation is for first reading and read by title only an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, California, amending Section 8.28.030 of Chapter 8.28 Fireworks of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code. And that concludes my report, and I am here to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, we'll take public comments first. Is there anybody now who'd like to speak to this item? Yes, ma'am. Come forward, state your name. You've got 3 minutes. Please.
My name is Margaret Reed, and did you just say that you were going to add 2 more fire stands in the city of Desert Hot Springs?
You gotta
in the city of Desert Hot Springs?
Direct to the council, then we can get it answered for you.
Okay, Mayor Mathis, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Did you guys, is this what I heard just tonight, that we're having 2 more fire stands in the city of Desert Hot Springs?
If that's all your comments, I gotta let you make all your comments first, and then
Okay,
we can get
so-
someone to answer that.
So that, and then why have an ordinance against no fireworks in the city of Desert Hot Springs? Because that's ludicrous. It's not. You guys know, the police department, I quit calling because it does me no good. Because the police are busy. They don't have time to come to every time. And it goes on, it starts in May and doesn't end till August in my neighborhood. So if you're going to add more, that doesn't make any sense. To have 2 more stands, that makes 6, and there's no fireworks, illegal fireworks, or safe and sane, whichever you guys want to call it. I'm disappointed with that, to hear that tonight. Okay, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Any other public comments tonight? Anyone would like to make any
I'd
comments?
like to comment on that.
We're
Sorry.
not to your yet, in the public comments. If we have nobody else coming forth, we'll close public comments, and I'll start with Mr. Betts.
So just to offer a quick explanation on that is, could you go back to the environmental slide? If you could pull that one up. And there's two types of fireworks in this world. There's the illegal ones, which are right there pictured on the slide, the rockets going up in the air. Those are illegal, and we don't allow those. The ones that are the safe and sane that you get at the fireworks booths are legal. The challenge in the city is to stop this proliferation of the illegal fireworks. I think having the option for people to light the regular ones, it helps relieve the lure to do the other ones, but also we need to do a much better job, and this is a little off subject, but we need to do a much better job of going after these illegal fireworks. It is just completely out of hand, and I would like to, as we're talking about fireworks, get an agenda item on here that says this council at one time funded a task force for $5,000, directed staff to put that task force in place however it could be done, and we're charging $1,000 of fines, and that was years and years ago, and we need to get a very serious effort. We've got New Year's coming up. It's going to be every bit as bad New Year's as it is on 4th of July. So I'm hoping the next council meeting we get that coming forward. Otherwise, the solution might be to ban all fireworks, because that's what people keep saying is, if you allow one, if you can't stop the other, why allow any? I'm in favor of the safe and sane, and I'm against the illegal ones, but we can't just sit here and say we're against it. We have to actually do something.
Mr. Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Add on to what my colleague just said, banning the safe and sane ones is not going to solve the problem of the illegal ones, so we're still going to have to do something with the illegal ones. I did have a couple of questions, and I'm not sure if Mr. Becerra would be the right one or somebody on the city management team, but right now our ordinance limits it to 4. We always have the same 5 applicants coming in, and we always approve the 5. It comes to us because it's an exception in the ordinance. If we approve up to 6 and we get 5 applicants, does it still come back to us for an approval? It's an administrative task on the city manager's desk, and so we don't have that we have done regularly ever since I've been on here before the 4th of July. So we won't have to approve one, and putting that extra one in there is in case you get another one, you don't have to bring it back to us, and 6 would certainly limit it. I think we would have a difficult time finding location for a 6th one that would still meet all of the regulation requirements, and so I'm in favor of this, and I would concur with Mr. Betts. We do need to take some sort of a look at what to do about the illegal ones. I don't know if we can do it by next week, but we do need to put that on our forward-thinking agenda.
Join a subcommittee?
And Mr. Becerra, I was glad to see too that this does not violate CEQA, because we now know, and the rest of the council should know too, Mr. Becerra is now our CEQA expert. He has been certified as a CEQA expert, and so now we can trust all of that things like this do not violate the California Environmental Quality Act. So we got to make sure nothing can violate that. So. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Mr. Nunez, anything?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the report, Eric. The only thing I have to say is this is a very important time where our youth organizations get to fundraise. This is the biggest opportunity for them to fundraise and actually fund their program, whatever it is, if it's basketball, Little League, football. So I'm in favor. I do agree we need the 6th because there's other organizations that always lose or miss the deadline, so they're not able to make the fundraiser. So I'm for it. Thank you.
Ms. Pye?
I'm for 5, not 6. Were you going to say something?
No, I was
I'm
not.
done.
And just to give a little bit of history about it, this started many years ago when the City of Desert Hot Springs ran out of funding for the regular show. Now we're very fortunate to still have a fireworks show again, not on the 4th of July, but right before it. And one of the efforts led by myself and another council member was the fire department was out citing everybody all the time, and trying to collect, and they were collecting all these safe and sane fireworks from people that would just walk over or go over to Cleo City or India or Coachella and pick them up and come down here. So we thought, what a way to raise money for our local charities here in Desert Hot Springs was to have these safe and sane fireworks. Now, that's not the problem. The problem is the illegal fireworks that go in the air. That's the problem. And this is a nationwide problem. Again, if you talk to every city we were at leagues, this is a problem that happens there. How do we solve that problem? I don't mind talking it to death here, but I think the city council has given enough direction to our staff and enough tools to be able to go out there and put together a good program. The problem comes back to who's going to man it. And maybe this is an opportunity with the STVR code enforcement contractors. Maybe we turn it into, they also look at fireworks. Maybe there's really some creative opportunities here, because if you send a police car down that street, the unfortunate thing, and I think the chief can contest to this, is you have to see them in the act of doing it, and that's the problem. Like the speaker said out there, she's called so many times, it's just, how do you catch them? And so if we had someone, in those neighborhoods during that time of year in a vehicle that they weren't expecting, maybe we would catch a few more. So maybe there is an opportunity there. I think we need to think outside the box. The last thing I want to do is bring another item to the city council to talk to death. So why don't we have city council take our comments tonight, put together something bigger, and bring it back to us presented that's going to actually solve some problems. So I don't think you're going to have any disagreement from anybody up here. All right, I'll entertain a motion. Sure.
I just want to say that we had done that, and we didn't get any result, and it's music to my ears to have staff charged with coming back to us with what the plan's going to be to catch them. And my view is that if you're tasking the police department with this, you're asking a lot. They've got a lot on their plate already.
I don't think anybody said that.
And I'm just offering comments. I didn't say anybody did say that. I'm just saying that if we're going to come back with something, my suggestion to staff would be a wholly separate entity or program or whatever you got that will address this issue, so that we aren't burdening the police. They've got a serious call. They can't stick around trying to track down where the fireworks are coming. They've got to go off and do their job that they do better than any police force I think I've ever seen. These guys are just fantastic what they do. And we can't divert them from something like this to go sit there and watch and see when that guy's going to put down his spear and walk out and light off the illegal fireworks.
I think the points have been made.
It is?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I think
so we're having an agenda item?
I'm pretty much getting off track here, and then the city attorney's going to start throwing something at me here
so-
soon. So I hear everybody. We've given direction. We'll bring something back later when we can put together a program that will be feasible for the
Okay,
city.
well, we got between now and New Year's, and
Your points have been made, Russell. Let's move on. All right, so did somebody make a motion?
I made the motion, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Second it, perfect. Let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously. This is the first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, California, amending Section 8.28.030 of Chapter 8.28 Fireworks of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code. The ordinance will return on October 4th for second reading and adoption.
Great, thank you so much. Item number 5 is a conflict of interest code biannual review and update. Gerald?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I'll start off with some background. So the purpose of the Political Reform Act is to prevent conflicts of interest through disclosure and disqualification. So to facilitate this purpose, the Political Reform Act requires that certain public officials and employees disclose their personal financial interests upon assuming office, annually while serving in office, and again upon leaving office. Disclosure is made on a form called the Statement of Economic Interest, also known as a Form 700. Filed forms are public documents that must be made available to anyone who requests them, and the city clerk is the designated filing official for the city. The following positions that I'll list are required to file Form 700s pursuant to Government Code 87200 and are not governed by the city's Conflict of Interest Code. Those positions are the mayor and city council, planning commissioners, city manager, city treasurer, and city attorney. In addition to those positions that I mentioned, the Act mandates that local agencies adopt a conflict of interest code that designates certain officials and employees who are also required to file Form 700s because they could foreseeably make or participate in making governmental decisions that could affect their personal financial interests. The Political Reform Act requires that conflict of interest codes establish a disclosure categories for each designated position that tailors the disclosure requirements for each position to the types of governmental decisions a person holding that position could make. In Desert Hot Springs, we have one disclosure category, which basically it's full disclosure that they have to report. That brings us to the item that's before you tonight. So the Political Reform Act requires all local government agencies review their conflict of interest codes every 2 years and even-numbered years to determine if updates are needed. So with that being said, the resolution before you tonight lists the additional positions that would be required to file Form 700s, and that concludes my staff report.
Do we have public comments on this? See nobody coming forth. I'll close the public comments. Ms. Pye? Mr. Nunez?
No,
Mr. Gardner? Mr. Betts?
Yeah, I got some questions here. So we got the mayor and city council, planning commissioners, city manager, city treasurer, city attorney, and consultants employed by the city to manage public investments who are not subject to the city's conflict of interest code? Is that correct?
They are subject to to file Form 700 under Government Code 87200 at the city manager's discretion.
Okay, so but was there a separate conflict of interest code for the rest of these city employees, or they're just people we're designating? Is it all one list and these are the people that we're adding, or how's this working? I don't understand what we're doing here.
So so the mayor and the city council, city manager, city treasurer, city attorney are mandated by state law under Government Code 87200 to file Form 700s. Additionally, cities are required to adopt a conflict of interest code that also designates other positions that make or participate in making governmental decisions to also file Form 700.
Okay, and so you've gone through the list of all the employees that are listed here, are positions, and those are the positions that have to file it?
Correct.
Okay, thanks. I've just had a lot of questions from the public on this one, so that clarifies it. Thank you.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Wait for it to come on the screen. And please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 6, fiscal year 2022-2023 appropriations, GAN, G-A-N-N, limit. Mr. Buckheim.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Before you is a resolution establishing the fiscal year 22-23 appropriations limit as required by Article 13B of the California Constitution. This is known as the GAN appropriation limit and is used to cap local and state government spending levels. So that the appropriation limit is actually adjusted annually for changes in population and inflation. So for fiscal year 22-23, the city's adjusted spending limit is $40,289,946, while its appropriations subject to that limitation is only $23,613,378. So staff recommends the adoption of this resolution establishing the appropriations limit for fiscal year 22-23.
Thank you for the report. Do anybody in the public that would like to speak to this item? I see nobody coming forth. We'll close public comments. Start with you, Mr. Betts. Any comments? Mr. Gardner? Mr. Nunez?
No, sir.
Mr. Pye? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Here's a motion and a second. Wait for it to come up on the screen. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
That moves us to public comments. Anybody that didn't speak at the beginning of the meeting may speak now up to 3 minutes on items not on the agenda. I see nobody coming forth. We'll close the public comments. The next upcoming meetings will be October 4th for City Council, October 11th for the Planning Commission, October 13th for the Public Safety Commission, and the City Council will be back for its second meeting in October on the 18th. And we are adjourned.